I want to say this right now. If you are a leftist who said Kamala and Trump are the same on this issue, if you are a leftist who voted for Jill Stein, I say this, and I know you guys are shitting and pissing the bed and doing everything you can to pretend like this take is like the worst, dumbest, most outlandish, and also probably racist thing you could say. This is all in your lap.
Here's the thing, people like Ethan are the reason why I had a whole entire hate train fucking campaign liberals attacking me, right? Because how dare you be a Middle Eastern person and stand up against genocide and call out both administrations on what they did? First of all, Kamala Harris turned Gaza into a parking lot. She was a part of the administration that did that. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ariana Jasmine, and today we are going to be going over how Ethan Klein's content Nuke on Hasan Piker backfired, quote, beautifully, according to this YouTube channel and this YouTube video. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment for more videos like this, and let's get into it. If you would really like to support me, you can subscribe to my Substack. It's free, and I publish articles every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you would really like to support me, you can subscribe monthly for only $5, the cost of a cup of coffee. Go to the link in this video's caption, www.arianajasmine.com, to subscribe. It only takes a couple of minutes, and you'll really be supporting me and my journey as a content creator. All right, let's get into this video.
I've never in my entire career been against such a dishonest, like hateful, persistently, like they're dirty, they don't care, they'll outwardly lie. This is an ongoing like joke with this community. These are just benign dudes, just I don't know what the they're doing. It looks like they're doing charity or something. It looks like they've got water or boxes or something, like they're helping. This is what it is online. Hasan's community are the most psychotic people on the internet.
He's a liar, dude.
I hate to say it, but I do think it's related. I mean, it's kind of like, it's kind of Stalinist. The way that they'll just lie and say anything to frame anyone for anything. It had just been discovered around the same time as this Arab tier list that Twitch had secretly, without announcing it anywhere, banned the entire country of Israel from creating new accounts.
They're just like in too deep on whatever the certain narrative is that they're committed to. I feel like the reason I brought it up was mainly to express the frustration with Bibi and him firing the one guy that was somewhat, attempting at moderation. It wasn't really so much to say Gallant is a good guy. I shouldn't have used that word. That was a bad choice on my part, considering stuff that he has said that I was not even thinking of. There's no room to allow
They have to win.
anything that deviates a
Watching Ethan Klein's wife speak, watching Hila speak is like watching paint dry on a wall. Like if this woman went off on her own and tried to start being a political commentator on by scratch, I don't think she would make it. Simply because she speaks so goddamn slow. Like there are so many pauses when she speaks. It's like so entirely boring because you have to really sit there and really focus and bro, I don't have the fucking attention span for that. Hey guys, so I shouldn't have said that, and just say the goddamn fucking sentence and move on. Why are you taking so damn long to finish a sentence?
Last week, Ethan Klein released the long-awaited content Nuke on Hasan Piker, his magnum opus, 2 months in the making, designed to end the career of Hasan Piker and anyone else in his political Twitch streaming orbit. Well, not anyone, mostly just Arabs and Arab women in particular. This video, from a metric standpoint, was a success. I mean, the Hila podcast hasn't hit 1 million views in 3 months, the last 1 million view video being entirely about Hasan. Ethan seemed to notice this trend and decided to go all out on a 2-hour crash-out content nuke to get it all off his chest. Or so we hoped, as the last 3 episodes of the Hila podcast have also been entirely about Hasan Piker. And in those 3 episodes, Ethan has really dug his own grave, showing us all that he truly is a shell of his former self.
Someone who has any sort of kindness in their heart.
I'm unkind now.
Wait, what is he talking about?
I'm a meanie head. He says, you have to be a total meanie head to make that video he made about me, which I haven't watched. Did you just call me a meanie head?
What? We're talking about kindness?
Yeah, are we doing...
We're way past that, Hasan. We hate you.
Yeah, no, it's...
Did you not get the memo?
I mean, what's kind about telling survivors that they're lying?
Today, I just want to take a quick look at the fallout of this nuke. Because Hasan is still averaging 40,000 live viewers, Ethan is still widely hated by the internet, and Hila Klein is losing business partnerships. The content nuke aimed for Hasan has backfired in an incredibly satisfying manner.
I mean, honestly, like, we obviously watched most of the content, Nuke, and a lot of Ethan supporters came into the comments and they were really dragging me for my goddamn life, okay? But at the end of the day, when you look at it, like, let's look at the grand scheme of things here, right? Hassan is viewer based. Like, almost all of his support comes from his viewers. The Patreon, the subscriptions that he gets on Twitch. He doesn't really go off of partnerships from companies. So it doesn't matter what Ethan or anyone really does against him. His viewership, so long as they support him, he's gonna get his coin. Like, he's gonna get the views. I don't really understand why this is so hard for him to understand, you know what I mean? But it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know what Ethan Klein was hoping that this was gonna happen. Like, if he thought Hassan was gonna lose sponsorships, that's not his model of making money. It doesn't work off of sponsorships. Did he think that, you know, Hassan was going to lose his viewers? That doesn't work because the majority of the leftist online currently hates Ethan. And most of the people that are batting for Ethan online are Destiny followers. And I don't know about you, but like, that's literally the last following base I would want to bat for me, like, ever, based on all of the allegations that Destiny has gotten that he's a fucking weirdo filming people and fucking spreading it around during their most intimate moments with him. So, I mean, whatever he thought he was going to accomplish with this, he clearly didn't. So
On the first episode back, Ethan basically himself off reacting to his own video.
Oh, you missed it? Let me go back.
Oh yeah, we gotta see that.
I was doing some high level here, Dan. I had to do a tutorial for this part. On this
A
part.
flag in the middle of campus, carried it to a mob by the gate that were communicating with the angry mobs outside of campus.
And this is where Ethan's cognitive state comes into question, because this dude is so clearly not doing okay. While reacting to Hassan's response to the content nuke, Ethan claims that he's never tried to be a comedian.
Very intelligent. Definitely not a hack-ass, failed-ass, dumbass comedian.
Bro, I've never tried to be a comedian, a failed comedian. What are you talking about? It's not even a sore spot for me or anything, because I'm not a comedian. I've never tried to be a professional comedian.
This is despite Ethan calling himself a professional comedian over a dozen times throughout his career.
I'm a comedian. That's my job.
I'm a comedian, right? I'm trying to make a joke. I know it looks crazy.
I'm a comedian, and people are laughing. Unlike you, I'm a comedian, not a journalist, so I have a little more leeway.
You know you're winning the debate when you start bringing up theories about Hassan's dog, Kaya, or who cooks him food off camera.
Comedian. In air quotes. Still
Ooh! Not funny.
Air quotes.
Not funny. Just like you're a socialist. By the way, theory time, and I'm pretty sure I'm right. Hassan says he adopted his dog. He went all over LA looking for the perfect dog. Oh, I went to all of these pounds. I couldn't find the perfect dog. But then magically, off camera, I found on Craigslist this post where they were giving away $20,000 designer dogs. And I was so lucky. Hassan Piker. Can anybody find me a Craigslist post where they're giving away $20,000 designer dogs? Because I'd like to inquire. He bought that dog, and he doesn't want to admit it, obviously. And by the way, I don't know. That's not the only lie he tells about his personal life. I did a story about it, but people didn't pick it up. I don't give a f. This guy's a piece of shit. People need to ask Hassan who's cooking his chicken off screen. Who's cooking that chicken? Who's taking care of him? There's something he goes, don't tell anyone though, for obvious reasons. Somebody's cooking his chicken, and they don't look like they're getting a piece of the pie either. You know what I mean? They're not on that socialist. They're not on that socialized workplace salary. You know what I mean? Cooking chicken's a big deal. That's integral to his daily routine.
okay, literally, like, I don't give a fuck who makes his chicken. Even if he hires someone to cook for him, like, what's the issue with that? I don't understand. What's the problem here? You know, when you start hating someone, your judgment gets so fucking clouded that everything they do turns into some sort of, like, hateful conspiracy theory in your head. Like, I know we've all been there. Like, we've all hated someone so much to where, like, you think about everything they do and you're like, oh, damn, like, they probably did this because of that. But, you know, I feel like this is much more of, like, it's turning into, like, an obsession that's not making sense. Like, an irrational obsession. You know what I mean? You start taking shit personally for no reason. Exactly.
I think this is an important time to mention that it's well-known lore that Ethan was neglected as a child and was often sent to school with zero food to eat and zero lunch money.
My parents didn't take care of me as a kid. When they cooked, which was rare, it was just awful. I didn't eat. I would starve. It was that bad. I used to go to school. My parents wouldn't give me money, and they didn't make me a lunch. I would just starve. I would beg for food from my friends. Straight up, I would beg for food from my friends. I was a homeless child.
Ethan can't even fathom the idea of a loving parent.
His whole shtick for the past year has been saying liberal Zionist talking points and then getting mad at everyone when they go, "Are you a Zionist?"
What liberal... Bro, the fantasy world that they've built is incredible. What is a liberal Zionist talking point?
Ethan did so much research for this video, but has yet to understand what a liberal Zionist talking point is. Here are just a few examples.
People who would like to criticize the army and Israel need to understand that it's a daily threat. that something needs to happen about it. It's not like we have a choice.
When you talk about privilege, let's talk about someone who's going to UC Berkeley, paid by their parents $200,000 tuition on campus protesting Israel. Do you find that ironic?
I personally think it's so ironic. I don't know. It's kids sitting here in like beautiful California criticizing, like you don't even know what you're talking about.
What you hear is people criticizing national security and calling Israel like apartheid, that they shouldn't have fences, or that Israel should be a one state with Palestinians and Israel all living together. They should reduce the borders and remove the gate. That to me seems like super ignorant.
It is, because when I grew up, I couldn't really take a bus. I was afraid of blowing up.
Right.
And now it doesn't really happen. So the wall did help.
There's a state of Palestine. It makes sense. But if you're in one state, all that's going to happen is like everybody is trying to bring as many people there as possible. And like by the time there frankly are a lot of Palestinians, right, in the area. And once the Palestinians outnumber the Jews, basically anything is fair game for the Jews. Anything.
Here's my thing. Like, Ethan is very clearly a Zionist. Ethan's a Zionist. I don't care what you say. Like, Ethan is a Zionist. He's married to a Zionist. He's married to someone that was in the IDF, the literal Israeli Defense Forces, right? You have lived in Israel. You get defensive when anyone talks shit about Israel. You pull the anti-Semitic card, and you are very deliberately targeting creators who are Middle Eastern or of Arab/Muslim, belief / descent. You are a Zionist. You're pulling all the cards the Zionists pull. That's just point blank period. So I just don't really understand why this is such a point of contempt for him. Like, why do you get so offended when someone calls you out for this? Because you are clearly a Zionist. Whether you like it or not, whether you accept it or not is a whole other conversation. But your talking points and your actions show that you are a Zionist. I don't really know what else to say. Like, this belief that we need a wall and that, Israelis live in daily fear and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's all horse shit. That's all Zionist talking points.
You can talk to me in person, big dog. You got my phone number. We can have a conversation on your stream. We can have a conversation on my stream. Last time, I had the baby gloves on, and you cried like a bitch after doing Teddy Fresh ads in the midst of our genocide coverage.
Ethan sees this as an opportunity to dunk on Hassan for being some sort of toxic masculinity frat bro.
So Hassan says, last time, which was our last conversation on his stream, I had the baby gloves on, which was part of, I was like, dude, why are you patronizing me? And he goes, and then you cried like a bitch. Once again, this dude is against toxic masculinity. Apparently he's a role model for leftist values. The frat bro veneer it's rearing its head. I'm telling you, this whole left-wing illusion is falling to the wayside. You say I cried like a bitch.
And only 2 days after the fact, Ethan went on a misogynistic rant about denims, where he called her a disgusting bitch several times. Of course, while his crew was dead silent.
And yes, she is a
Oh my God, this clip was so bad. I was in New York with my friends in an Airbnb and I played it, and like all 2 of my friends that I was with walked up to me and they were like, dude, what the fuck are you watching? Because this clip was so bad. It was so visceral that my 2 friends who were doing completely random things walked up to me and they were like, what the fuck are you watching? It was that bad.
Somebody that laughs in the face of other rape victims and immediately calls them liars, that's a of a person.
There are reports of Palestinian women in captivity talking about that experience.
Let's see. I found one of the sources. One of the ones that you quoted was like,
I don't know why this creator cut out the clip, but the clip was a lot longer. It was like 3 minutes of Ethan just saying like, Denims is a bitch. That's a bitch. She's a bitch. She's a fucking bitch. It was like repetitive. It was like, it felt like it was on a loop, but it wasn't because he was just going off. It was bad.
I don't know what the this is. Care.com. It's literally just like a little blurb. That's a huge claim. 15 Palestinian women were what? I don't know what this is. What is this? Is this a source?
You're asking if it's credible.
Yeah. Yes, Care is credible. I think, at least.
What is
Care is? Care is
There's no source. She is earning the coveted distinction of being a f***ing bitch. Congratulations. Enjoy the distinction. I've come here and I've made the distinction. I have decreed. Let it be known that Denims is a dumb f***ing bitch. She deserved that. What she was doing, I'm standing by every syllable of that. Okay. What she did was abhorrent. And by the way.
Oh, and I got another shout out in this video. Thanks for keeping the Comrade KC spirit alive.
You spent the next year constantly ripping into, suspiciously, a lot of, not myself, but other people of color. I'm not calling myself a person of color. I know it's going to get clipped out of context here as well. And then you're going to be like, meh, 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 whatever. No, just noticing that you have just been going after a lot of...
This guy is really throwing spaghetti at the wall. He's accused me of being racist. And that to me is like, My eyes rolled all the way in the back of my head if I had a seizure. Going after brown people, I'm assuming he's talking about people like Frogan and others who, by the way, I have never attacked unprovoked. Every single time I've talked about Frogan was a direct response to her. Every time. So what, she's brown? That's your takeaway? Is that because she's brown? That's the only reason I care that she's making fun of October 7th victims? That she's brown? That's for real? Are you being serious right now? Are you actually being serious right now?
No, dude, it's because you literally attack Middle Eastern people constantly. And it wasn't just Frogan. It's Frogan, Denims, Capri Sun Papi, Vio, Hassan. These are 5 Middle Eastern / Muslim people that you are consistently attacking. I wouldn't even go as far as saying brown. I would say Middle Eastern and Muslim, period. He got multiple Middle Eastern and Muslim people banned off of Twitch for a month. It's not a far-fetched thing to assume that you are biased towards Middle Eastern and Muslim people through your actions.
You're actually making this point right now. Okay, exactly. This is the brown people that he's talking about. Yeah, Casey, Comrade Casey, who's waiting for a hot, bodacious hijabi babe in the park.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Let's not forget about that. That's what woke leftist non-toxic masculinity looks like.
So this is the part of the video that I love so much. Because Ethan did basically zero research for his big content nuke that took 2 months, he makes a fool of himself twice with this one clip. First, it's on H3 Show 105, where Ethan reacts to a compilation of Hassan calling Jewish supremacists inbred.
Inbred. Douchebags in the background.
Like, these are just dudes standing back there.
Entirely
like,
comprised of messy.
And this is an ongoing like joke with his community. These are just benign dudes. Just I don't know what the they're doing. It looks like they're doing charity or something. It looks like they've got water or boxes or something, like they're helping. And he's going, oh, look at these f***s. It's like, bro, who are you? Who are you?
They're not doing charity. They're not doing charity. I hope he covers what they're doing because they're not doing charity.
Like, how dare you?
Yeah, so Ethan just straight up admits that he used footage as evidence in his content nuke without even understanding the context of the clip itself. It's almost like he didn't clip this himself from the original source, but instead found the clip online, probably on one specific subreddit. In this clip, Hassan is watching a group of Jewish supremacist Nazis basically blocking aid trucks from entering Gaza and stealing and destroying the aid inside. They're not doing charity like Ethan thinks they are.
This comes just days after Israeli settlers blocked aid trucks headed to Gaza through the occupied West Bank from Jordan. Footage of the incident shows settlers raiding the aid trucks, throwing food into the road and setting fire to vehicles at the Tarkumia checkpoint near Hebron in the occupied West Bank.
So I knew exactly where that clip came from because this clip of the Israeli extremist, completely obliterating, the donation aid that people in Palestine were supposed to get people in Gaza. This clip went viral. Anyone that even remotely covers Palestinian news or understands news saw that clip and it enraged them. So that's why the minute I saw that clip, oh, looks like they're doing charity, I knew immediately that they weren't. They were not doing charity. They were destroying donations that were supposed to go for little children who are starving and dying in the Gaza Strip. That's how fucking stupid Ethan Klein is. Like, you are fucking stupid.
And then on H3 Show 107, Ethan reacts to Hassan watching this clip, but once again takes it out of context and makes himself look like a fool all over again.
And at a certain point, people are going to be like, you're using these sorts of clips out of context?
Bro, he is so pathetic. First of all, he hasn't watched the video. And this is like one of his main go-tos for any criticism. It's always like out of context. He hasn't watched the video. What's out of context, bro? Your reaction is out of context. You got no context.
Notice how you move the needle? You move the goalpost. I said that it's out of context. You demanded I describe to you what the context is, and you immediately moved on, and you're like, well, that's not the major point of the...
But you didn't...
What is he talking about?
Apparently a chatter is calling him out like, he says, how do you know the context? You haven't watched the video. I'm assuming was it. But then he goes, oh, really? Well, you moved the goalpost. It's like, but you didn't answer. You didn't tell him what the context is. So there was no kick. When you move the goalpost, you're moving it further from the kick. There's no kick.
At a certain point, you have to understand, like, okay, well, if this is incorrect, do you like being incorrect?
Can anybody tell me what the he's talking about? He hasn't watched it. He hasn't cited anything that's out of context. He's talking about, oh, you're incorrect and you like... What is he talking about? How do people watch him? He literally will talk and drone on about nothing. He just regurgitates words. It's just word vomit.
Like, what are you talking about? You're making it seem like this is a formative work. It's very clear what the intention of the video is.
Dude, you haven't seen it.
And also, notice how you move the needle, you move the goalpost. I said that it's out of context. You demanded I described to you what the context is, and you immediately moved on, and you're like, well, that's not the major point of the video.
You didn't do the context thing. You didn't explain
At a certain point, you have to understand, like, okay, well, if this is incorrect, do you like being incorrect? I guess you do.
How do you know they're incorrect? He's not. What is he saying?
If you missed it, here's the part of the video Ethan very conveniently skips over.
Chatter was asking for how certain things are clipped out of context. Here, this is a great example. Douchebags in the background,
just dudes standing back there.
Entirely comprised of
and this is an ongoing like joke with this community. These are just benign dudes. Just I don't know what the fuck they're doing. It looks like they're doing charity or something. It looks like they've got water or a box.
They're doing charity. Remember, by the way, this is a video that he quote unquote researched for months.
Or something like they're helping, and he's going, "Oh, look at these." It's like, bro, who are you? Like, how dare you?
Guys, the Israeli police is investigating the attack on the Gaza aid convoy.
Israeli security forces are paid to stop this happening. They either could not or would not, but clearly did not prevent Israeli settlers attacking an aid convoy yesterday from the West Bank bound for Gaza, where, say aid agencies, hundreds of thousands of civilians face famine.
But during the unloading and loading, settlers attacked these trucks, destroying the products and burning them in a systematic act of sabotage.
A continuation of images seen yesterday as settlers destroyed food at the same crossing point.
So, does that make sense? Do you understand now? And I mean every single clip that he used, every single one, is exactly like this. Where's that one chatter who asked that question? I assume he f***ed off immediately after coming in and saying, like, this is, he said some other stupid shit. I mean, that's clearly not the messaging of the video. If you're saying his claim is you scared him, like, do you have any media literacy whatsoever? Do you think I need media literacy to understand a YouTube drama slop video? Like, what are you talking about? You're making it seem like this is a formative work. It's very clear what the intention of the video is. And also, notice how you move the needle, you move the goalpost. I said that it's out of context. You demanded I described to you what the context is, and you immediately moved on, and you're like, well, that's not the major point of the.
But you didn't.
What is he talking about?
Apparently, a chatter's calling him out, like, he says, how do you know the context? You didn't watch the video. I'm assuming was it. But then he goes, oh, really? Well, you moved the goalpost. Like, but you didn't answer. You didn't tell him what the context is. So there's no kick. When you move the goalpost, you're moving it further from the kick. There's no kick.
At a certain point, you have to understand, like, okay, well, if this is incorrect, do you like being incorrect?
Can anybody tell me what the he's talking about? He hasn't watched it. He hasn't cited anything that's out of context. He's talking about, oh, you're incorrect. And you're like, what is he talking about? How do people...
I feel like this is turning into an unhealthy obsession for Ethan. I really do. Like, I know an unhealthy obsession when I see it. This is turning into an unhealthy obsession. Like, this whole entire editing out of context and not putting in every single aspect of this. I don't know. Like, I'm literally getting a headache watching this, okay? I am getting a headache watching this. I'm going to be really honest with you. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you exactly what is happening here, okay? There's two things happening here simultaneously. Ethan Klein has noticed that bashing Frogan, Denims, but mainly Hassan, is making him a lot of views and a lot of money, okay? On the flip side of that, he also has a visceral hate towards Hassan. So you put these two together, it's turning into this like shitstorm, if you will, of it just going south completely, because now he is allowing his hatred and the fact that he's getting clout and money off of this go completely off of the rails. Whenever you're a content creator, you need to have the ability to police yourself and understand that, like, hey, I'm starting to talk about this a little bit too much. I'm starting to obsess over this a little bit too much because it's getting me the views and the numbers. Let me like step away for a little bit and start making other kinds of content, right? But when it turns into such a like obsession, the way that it's turned for Ethan, like stepping away becomes harder and harder, and then it turns into this shit, whatever this is.
Watch him. He literally will talk and drone on about nothing.
I mean, how can you be so confident in your hallucinations that you make such a foolish error? I guess when your very progressive audience gets replaced with Destiny fans who flood your subreddit with clipped out of context footage, that's how it happens. Oh, but Ethan doesn't know Destiny, so that can't possibly be the case, even though this post and this post and this post and this post were either from the Destiny subreddit or from the H3 subreddit posted by someone active on the Destiny subreddit. I mean, just look at this chart from overlapping communities on Reddit. The blowback from the content nuke really started to materialize in H3 show 106.
Hello, my friends. We are here. We are back. There's just way too much to talk about. Never ending, guys. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank you to Gamer Subs for sponsoring us today. Thank you to the gang. What's up, people of the world?
The content nuke clearly didn't work as intended, so Ethan begins gleefully reacting to Trump saying he's going to ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip, all the while Ethan blaming this on Hassan.
Trump has had some brilliant ideas on Gaza, once again reminding people that I voted and advocated for Kamala Harris, and Hassan did not.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
I envision
the world, people living there, the world's people. I think you'll make that into an international unbelievable place. I think the potential in the Gaza Strip is unbelievable.
And you know he's going to call it like the Trump Strip.
Mara Gaza.
Mara Gaza.
Mara Gaza.
And I'll tell you who wouldn't be clearing out Gaza to build casinos. Kamala Harris.
I think it's
I can with 100% certainty say that the two candidates are not the same. I did my part to stop this. I wish I could say the same for other folks. It's a shame. I want to say this right now. If you are a leftist who said, abstained, I'm abstaining from voting for Kamala. If you are a leftist who said Kamala and Trump are the same on this issue. If you are a leftist who voted for Jill Stein, I say this, and I know you guys are shitting and pissing the bed and doing everything you can to pretend like this take is like the worst, dumbest, most outlandish, and also probably racist thing you could say. This is all in your lap.
Here's the thing, people like Ethan are the reason why I had a whole entire hate train fucking campaign liberals attacking me, right? Because how dare you be a Middle Eastern person and stand up against genocide and call out both administrations on what they did? First of all, Kamala Harris turned Gaza into a parking lot. She was a part of the administration that did that. Every single time Middle Eastern people tried to confront her or protest at her campaign rallies, what would she do? I'm speaking. Which, by the way, the first time she did it with Mike Pence, it was cute and all. Second and third time, like by the 8th time I heard it, I was like, God damn, I am willing to pay my whole entire life savings to not hear this woman say this ever again. Like, please. We begged her to allow a Palestinian person to speak at the DNC. She did not allow a Palestinian person to speak. Meanwhile, a hostage family was brought in to speak, and a bunch of corporation CEOs were brought in to speak. So you're telling me that Middle Eastern and Muslim people in America had the control to sway this election? There's so many flaws, but listen, it's a lot easier to point at people like me or Hassan. Not that I'm on the same level of Hassan, but you get what I mean. It's a lot easier to point at Middle Eastern or Middle Eastern adjacent people and say, ha ha ha, this is all your fault. You're not allowed to say shit or do shit, whilst not accepting that Kamala Harris's, whole entire cabinet that she was a part of was directly tied to the obliteration of Gaza and the obliteration of the Palestinian people. The life expectancy in Palestine and Gaza right now is 40 years old. 40. That is nearly half of any other country. So it's so easy to sit here as a fellow raging Zionist and say, I advocated for Kamala Harris. All of you people who said Kamala Harris and Trump, but you guys can't say anything. I am better than you because I was... Number one, congratulations, that doesn't change shit. Donald Trump is still our president. Number two, you know who you're going to attract by saying things like that? You're going to attract the Destiny followers. And I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, since obviously Ethan is too fucking dumb to understand this. Destiny's following is quite literally the worst following you can have. Yeah, they are sexual assault and rape apologists. They are raging Zionists. They do not believe in the survival of Palestinian people. They believe that they're all terrorists, and Destiny is a fucking degenerate. So you have an orbiting crew of literal degenerates that do not leave their basements, and that's who you're attracting. Good luck. I hope the numbers are worth it. I can tell you right now, it's not gonna be worth it.
What is the outcome of this level of activism? What have they done for Gaza? Literally, what have they done for Gaza? What have they done for Gaza? Serious, I'm being dead serious. They've done nothing. They are ineffective, completely worthless as advocacy goes. A total failed movement.
And then the CEO of Teddy Fresh joined in on the blowback. What up, Hila Kleiners? She posted this on her Instagram story. This artist I wanted to collaborate with decided I can't be associated with because I'm Israeli. I've followed him for years, always supported him, and I have an original painting of his at my house. When we talk about how serious the rise in anti-Semitism is, this is why it's scary for us. It's now so casual to just not want to associate with an Israeli, just because I was born there. Where in this very short, polite email does it say anything about Hila being Israeli? I'm sorry, I can't be associated with this company. Thanks for the consideration. And Israel does not equal Judaism. How long is it going to take for these people to get this out of their heads? She then decided to call into the show and whine about her experience as a marginalized Israeli.
This is the result of Hassan's type of activism, where there's zero space, forget nuance. I mean, it's like they're just all or nothing. Like, I mean, that's just not how the world works. This is not how the world works. Should I out him?
It's not Alex Pardee, he's a saint. He's the best person.
Yeah, Alex is a sweetheart.
I don't know is it morally okay to say who he is. Whatever you guys think, I don't care.
I mean, if I say who he is, it's probably just to get a bunch of snarkers buying his art, but I don't care. People should be. I mean, listen, it's not right. What an asshole response to, like, it's almost like yeah, and by the way, like, he doesn't even dignify you with a response of like, it's like, no, I can't be associated with this company. That's it. And you guys have had a relationship, like, he knows you.
I'm just annoyed because it's not the first one. There's another person right now that is doing the same thing to me, somebody that I'm already working with. So, I don't know. This one really got to me because I have his art at my house, and it's like, what the do I do with that? I appreciate the art. I don't want to destroy it, but I also don't want it.
And this is the result of this activism that this is the result of Hassan's activism. This is what it resounds to. Alienation, hate, racism, and zero progress for people in Gaza. Zero. I mean,
he actively didn't help make sure we don't get Trump in office. So
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
No, I hope he's happy with, like, Trump-Landia that we're going to get there. There should be a Hassan Street there, the Hassan Square.
I love how everything relates to Hassan. I didn't get a business partnership, Hassan. People are gay, Hassan. Israel, Hassan. Trump is president, Hassan. It's like everything just turns back to Hassan. Like, at some point you gotta move on. I don't know, it's giving, like, when you're in high school and you have nothing better to do and you obsess over the mean girl that hates you or whatever, like, that's the energy it's giving. It's like, yeah, my housekeeper sued me, Hassan. Literally everything relates back to Hassan. And it's like, a lot of businesses don't want to associate with Israelis, same way that a lot of businesses don't want to associate with Palestinians. I can't tell you how many partnerships and opportunities I have lost because I stood up for the Palestinian cause. It is what it is. When you have a political stance, some people don't fuck with it. Like, and then somehow this turns into, like, Hassan. You know what I mean? It's so pathetic. They're too old for this. They're literally too old for this.
There are so many different explanations for this, and if this person really did know Hila and have a relationship with her already, there's no way the reason is because she's Israeli. They would have known that. Did they just find out she's Israeli? It could be that he saw recent clips of her, I don't know, agreeing with Rudy Giuliani about 2-year-old Palestinians, or calling Yoav Gallant a good guy, or even older footage of her saying the apartheid wall is a good idea for her safety, or I don't know, the f***ing content nuke on Hassan. You yourself admit that this guy is a fan of Hassan, so he's probably very supportive of Palestine. Chances are this dude probably assumed you were pro-Palestine, was proved otherwise, and politely told you he no longer wants to be associated with the company. Wait, what was the entire purpose of the content nuke on Hassan in the first place?
If you ever see Hassan rubbing shoulders with anyone from mainstream media, let them know politely, with all the civility in the world, what kind of person he is when he thinks mainstream media isn't watching. Help them understand that his name should be associated with people like Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones, other fringe, radical, political commentators. Number 2, Twitch must be held accountable. Twitch has proven that it will not change by choice, and so it is our moral imperative to enact that change through any reasonable...
These are all their sponsors, and listen, at a certain point, when you've pushed every button, pulled every lever, and nothing's working, when you've tried your best to give good faith feedback, and you think that something is that important to you, like, you have, in my opinion, a moral obligation, and what I see as a moral obligation, to pull whatever lever you can. And I am not too proud, and I am not above, I don't give a shit, right? Like, if you've done something dumb enough that you can get easily by an email to the sponsors, that's something you have to reckon and deal with. I've been dealing with that my whole career, okay?
I wasn't going to say it.
No, I am. I'm not. I don't hide from it. Everybody knows that. Right. I've been dealing with it for my whole career, okay? And it's something you got to reckon with. It's something you got to deal with. But like, be accountable, man. And I have become accountable for a lot of things that people always send to the sponsors, and it's something you deal with. That's just life. And I think it's insane that all these brands are associating with Twitch when it's become a safe haven for extremist politics.
We all recall YouTube's adpocalypse. It happened when ads were running over ISIS recruitment videos, and it caused a brand exodus. The same thing is happening now on Twitch, but instead of ISIS, it's the Houthis, Hamas, and Hezbollah. Dan Clancy's refusal to moderate extremists is the only reason for any of this. He is the sole person to blame. He had so many opportunities to stop this.
If you look back at the adpocalypse that took place on YouTube, we all got so hard. There was years of the revenue being dog shit. I lost 90% of my ad revenue when that happened, and I didn't have sponsors at the time. That was like 100%. That was all my income was from that.
When the apocalypse was happening, were you mad at the people who pointed out that ads were on ISIS videos?
Yes.
The Nuke headed for Hassan turned around, penetrated the Iron Dome, and hit the Teddy Fresh offices. I'm sorry, but that is so incredibly hilarious. Of course, Ethan then went to Instagram to write, "I'm going to answer this because I've seen Hila getting enough from scumbags on the internet. This is someone she has had an existing relationship with. They have never had an issue with any of our conversations over the years. There is no reason for the shortness of the answer, as they've been amicable and friendly until now. They're also a Hassan fan and active in online activist circles that target us. You like to hope that people can prioritize a personal relationship and see through the bullshit people say about us, but it's not always like that. Also, don't know why some of you guys have a hard time believing this. Brad Does Music was literally canceled for taking a picture with us and forced to apologize. This has been a constant issue for Israeli artists since October 7th. Yeah, if you run defense for the IDF and say that 2-year-old Palestinians are taught to kill Americans, this should happen to you. I mean, in the same episode, only minutes earlier, Ethan called out creators for Palestine, because apparently raising $1.6 million is negligible and doesn't actually help people in Palestine. Take a wild guess as to who was one of the main organizers of that charity event.
Creators for Palestine raised $1.6 million. That's fantastic. Literally negligible. They've received billions of dollars. It's a good thing. Has $1.6 million had an outcome on anything happening in Gaza? Absolutely not. Has it helped people? Sure. Has it helped the actual movement? No. Raise money. That's good. That's the easiest thing you can do is just give money, right? Good. Let's talk about real activism. Let's talk about enacting meaningful change. Total failures.
Wait, okay, I'm confused. If raising $1.6 million for a movement isn't anything that's gonna do anything, then what is? What does he want people to do? All of our politicians are bought out by AIPAC. All of our politicians are bought out by Israeli lobby. We have tried to protest in the streets. We have tried to lobby them. We've tried to email them, contact our reps. We have done all of that. But, raising money is a huge part of any kind of movement, period. And it's really interesting because he equates all of the failure when it comes to Gaza, activism to people's failures, right? While not really acknowledging that our political government is bought out by Israeli government. And that's not me just my objective opinion. This is a fact. This is a literal fact. Outside of maybe a dozen politicians in Congress, not even in Senate, that haven't gotten any AIPAC money, almost every single politician has some sort of ties to Israel that forces them to be favorable towards the government and the country. And so he's looking at us little people, us everyday people, which 70% of us lives paycheck to paycheck, and he's like, ha ha ha, you guys are all failures. You guys are failures. Long live Israel. And it's well, you're not really acknowledging why that's the case, right? You're not really acknowledging the system in which we are put up against. And raising $1.6 million in an economy that is so fucking trash for a movement that is so just chastised and hard to be a part of, being pro-Palestine is fucking hard. It is hard. I can't tell you how many opportunities I lost, how many mutuals I lost, how many people cussed me the fuck out the first month that I went to be pro-Palestine or whatever. Yeah, it's not easy. It wasn't easy. Would I go back and, change my decision? No, I wouldn't. But to go after for people that genuinely put everything on the line to support and speak for Palestinian people, you're a fucking loser, dude. You're a loser.
No wonder people don't want to work with you guys. Nearly 100 of some of the most popular YouTubers and Twitch streamers were a part of that. You're just guaranteeing that you're hated across the internet at that point.
It's not real activism. It didn't make a single difference in Gaza. He's lost his mind. It's crazy how much I used to look up to H3. They were the fathers of fair use, and now he's just sitting here crashing out for days on end because Hassan Piker won't watch his silly little class project. That $1.69 million, and I put the 9 there because it was 1.693 million, so it's pretty close to 1.7, so we'll round up. That $1.69 million helped so many individuals, and no, it absolutely did not solve the crisis. That's not what we set out to do. If we had the power to do that, we would have done that 1,000 times over, but no amount of YouTubers coming together is going to solve what's happening in Gaza. We wanted to do two things: use our platform to spread awareness and help in the ways that we can and raise the money that we can. And if you can't understand that, Ethan, if you can't mentally understand that that's activism, you're an idiot. We pulled together creators from every single corner of the internet, people who have nothing in common, people who have never, ever talked about any political topic in public, and we got them to speak out about Palestine. The whole point was to get people who have never talked about these kinds of issues, who have never cared about these kinds of issues, and put them in front of them, and I think we did exactly that. From the Try Guys to Curtis Connors to everybody that we had together in that room, and reached so many corners of the internet and reached so many more people than we'd ever had before. That's activism. And then beyond that, VidCon was 2 weeks later, and I can't tell you how many creators came up to me and said, thank you for doing that, asked on how they could be a part of the next event we do, asked what they could do from their own communities and their own platform because they've been terrified to speak out. But seeing guys like Curtis Connor, seeing guys like the Try Guys put their whole platforms out there on the line and say, I don't care what the US government says about where they're going to send their dollars and who they're going to weaponize, I'm going to support this human rights violation. That's the activism, Ethan. It's using your platform to spread awareness. And on top of that, you're just implying that none of us did anything else. Lots of us marched at rallies. Lots of us spoke to our lawmakers, called our senators, called our local government officials, and made it very clear this is an issue to us. And here's a clip from his content, Nuke, where he talks about how he donated $6,500 to Palestine.
Despite what you've read on TikTok and Twitter, I've donated $6,500 to a Palestinian charity after the war started.
Hey, Ethan Klein, thank you for the dono. Ethan Klein gave $6,500.
When he was called out about this on Twitter and on Breads, he decided to come after Stanzi Potenza and go out of his way to say, how much money did you personally donate? That's such a stupid conversation point. So many creators, because I run Creators for Palestine. I see the back end. I see every donation. I can't tell you how many creators donated $10,000 plus $25,000 and more, but didn't make a public statement about it and didn't try and say, hey, look at me, I'm a good guy, I did something that's the most basic human necessity. Hey, I'm a millionaire, so I decided to give some of my money. And unlike Ethan, didn't make it a shield to say, hey, I don't have these horrible political beliefs. No, because I donated $6,500 to Palestine, therefore I made a difference. And then he's going to come out and criticize Creators for Palestine. And for what? Ethan, I was a massive fan of you growing up. I can't tell you how much I looked up to you as the father of fair use and for dunking on horrible, cringy people on the internet, but you've become exactly what you were against back in the day. You have the kind of life people dream of. You're a multi-millionaire, you got your kids, you have everything you could want, and you spend every day sitting on the internet crying and whining and moaning. Get offline and get your mental health in order. You have absolutely lost it. And don't you dare ever disrespect Creators for Palestine or any other charity again. When you're sitting there talking, you're calling us to do some real activism. What the hell have you done? Was your content new real activism? Was telling everybody that, oh my God, big reveal, Hassan Piker's a socialist. Of course he's a socialist. He's been a radical socialist the whole time. That's who he's been. That's not real activism either. So why don't you get off, go enjoy your millions of dollars, your wonderful life, and then do some real activism if you care about it, instead of sitting in your stupid podcast chair, yelling at your employees, treating everybody you know like crap, because you know, Ethan, multiple people in your life haven't spoken to you because they're nervous of how you'd react in public, but privately, tons of your friends have talked to me and to others about how worried they are about you and your mental health because you've absolutely flying off the handle. Get it together.
I'm not even the one that he was telling off, and I feel uncomfortable. Not in a bad way, but like in a I said what the fuck I said popping off kind of way. You know what I mean? That is fucking crazy. I'm so here for this energy. I don't get how anyone can work with or even be around him. Yeah, I don't either. I literally do not get it.
To Instagram to try and make amends, I guess. But he really just doubled down. Oh look, another dipshit leftist lying about me on Twitter. Anyone remember me saying this yesterday? If I thought raising money is a bad thing, why would I donate $6,500 of my own money? By the way, since you bring it up, how much did you personally give? The fact is that raising money is negligible when you are helping the ethnic cleansing candidate win. This is a concept that is so obvious and easy to understand, but somehow when faced with criticism of their surface level and ineffective activism, they turn into lying baby brain propagandists. Ethan, say money bad. Either you are dumb as or just a straight up liar. Either way, you scumbag. I have zero patience for anyone participating in this pathetic hate bandwagon. I'm not really sure what he means by helping the ethnic cleansing candidate win. I mean, he himself voted for Kamala. Wasn't she the vice president during the ethnic cleansing? And didn't she say that if she won the presidency, she would change nothing about what Joe Biden did in Palestine?
President Biden has tried unsuccessfully to end the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. Would you do anything differently? For example, would you withhold some U.S. weapons shipments to Israel? That's what a lot of people on the progressive left want you to do.
Let me be very clear. I'm unequivocal and unwavering in my commitment to Israel's defense and its ability to defend itself. And that's not going to change. I've met with the families of the American hostages. Let's get the hostages out. Let's get the ceasefire done.
But no change in policy in terms of arms and so forth.
No, we have to get a deal done.
So in the end, the nuke did detonate, just on the wrong target. I mean, guys, you're big boys. There are consequences for your actions. And targeted hate and harassment campaigns against very popular people on the internet is probably not going to end well, especially when you yourself, over the past year and a half, have really just been a bad faith actor in this whole Israel-Palestine discussion. You say you're pro-Palestine, but almost every day you talk shit about people that are pro-Palestine. You say you don't support the Israeli government, but whenever they bomb a hospital, you say, there's no way they did that.
Their bases are under hospitals. They shoot from schools. They embed themselves in the civilian population. They even dress as civilians when they fight.
You're obviously under the impression that Hassan hate videos get clicks, and you're not wrong. But a dead horse can only be beaten for so long before it becomes a rotten puddle of goo. Thank you for watching NSR. Peace and love. Free Palestine.
I actually loved that video. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Ethan Klein is a piece of shit. And like, listen, I think Ethan Klein and Anna Kasparian are on the same path, and they're on the same path in a way where they have completely lost themselves. And I think as a content creator, it's very easy to look at yourself and compare yourself to other people and just kind of really get angry and envious and jealous. And I think every single creator really struggles with that. Now, some creators dwell on it and they really turn it into their lifelong passion, hating on people. And some other creators, you know, they acknowledge it, they talk to a therapist, maybe go on some antidepressants, and they move on. And so I feel like for people like Anna Kasparian and Ethan Klein, it's kind of turned into somewhat of an obsession. I think that more people need to continue to call out Ethan Klein, and we need to continue to have these conversations because, like, he's problematic. These people are problematic. They need to be called out. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel. I love you. Thank you for being here, and make sure you like, subscribe, comment for more videos like this, and I'll see you next time.